guys, welcome back to Cooking with the Frisbees. I'm Beth, Keith is behind the camera, and today we're doing stuffed squash flowers from our garden. It's just something we have an abundance of, not just squash, but also the flowers, and I gotta tell you, this is completely not my recipe. It is a Giada recipe, but we'll go ahead and get started. These are gonna be battered and fried. The batter is super simple. Pepper wants to help. The batter is super simple. We're simply doing a cup each of flour and seltzer water. We're gonna mix this together first. There'll be a little bit of salt in there as well. But we're gonna mix this together first so that we can get it combined and it can calm down before we actually start. This is gonna make it nice and light and airy. I've seen a couple people use more of like a pancake mix with their egg whites fluffed. It makes it nice and airy too. Here we go. You can see that. It looks like pancake batter. Okay. Just gonna do a little bit of salt.
When I was in Charlotte the other day,
what's that?
that I asked the waiter for seltzer water, and she told me, I worked over in Europe, and they asked for gas or no gas.
Or bubbles. When I was in Italy, they're like,
so interesting.
do you want bubbles or no bubbles? I'm like,
gas or no gas? Like, hope your food's not taking any gas.
okay. So next, we're going to make the filling. Now, I don't know about you, but I love goat cheese. And this has both goat cheese and cream cheese in it, so it's right up my alley. So this is just 2 ounces of goat cheese. It has been softened. This is about 1 ounce of cream cheese. And just a little bit of cream. This is, I think, 2 teaspoons of cream. It's just something to loosen it up. So we'll get these stirred together. Yeah, this is gonna take me a minute. And combine the 2 cheeses, cream cheese. What could be better than cream cheese and goat cheese together? I also was able to pull some green onion and some basil from my garden. This is probably a tablespoon of basil, chopped pretty finely, and 1 green onion. It's not a whole green onion. This is probably also a little over a tablespoon. Some fresh cracked pepper. Get it combined. Oh, it's so herby. Herbalicious. All right. That's all combined. Looks great. Now, I definitely wanted to show you guys how I prep the flowers, and I actually went to a video from an Italian chef because Giada used store-bought. So those are already prepped and cleaned and finished and everything. So I have to put my little spectacles on here. So, fresh out of the garden, you see they've got these little kind of spiky leaves here. Those are not soft, and they're not gonna soften up when they cook. And then inside, you can see the little reproductive organs of this guy. So we're gonna get rid of the little spiky things. I'm just using a paring knife and pulling them back. And then which this is not something I knew I needed, but kitchen tweezers. Now these are my regular tweezers from my bathroom, but same concept. And we're just gonna go in here, if you can see that, and we're going to pull this guy out. And they're in there, they're pretty strong. I mean, that's their entire reproductive system. There we go. And it's out. And you're just gonna discard this, right? There's a little bit more in here. I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. So now you see, we have a hole. So these guys are already washed and prepped and ready to be filled. So I'm gonna get me a piping bag. And I'm gonna come back and do some piping. I'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Okay, I said I was going to get a piping bag. I should have been a little bit more specific. I was going back to get a plain old kitchen bag, storage bag. This is the quart size. I do have piping bags that I use on the rare occasion, but this is just as easy, and we're only filling 6 of these. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. So I just make a little cone with the corner and then fill the bag. Use a spatula, trust me, it'll be much easier. And I just kind of scrape it into my hand as I'm holding it. Okay, I'm gonna get as much as possible. I'm only doing 6 blossoms because, well, there's only 2 of us, and this is just meant to be a little appetizer. So, twist it up. Now all I gotta do is cut the tip off. There we go, and I've got my own piping bag. These guys are pretty delicate, so you wanna handle them with kit gloves. So this one was already prepared. I'm just gonna go ahead and pipe some in there. And then I'm going to take and twist. And that is all there is to it. See, I broke this one, but because we're filling it, it'll end up being like a little bit of glue. And I'm gonna hope that after I batter it, it doesn't break apart when I'm trying to fry it. Oh, this is a big one. I think the recipe called for 8 flowers, but these guys. I also
They just stick together when you twist them like that?
Yeah, so if you feel the tops of them, you'll feel they're a little sticky. Kind of like I was just about to say, why I have such a small little stem on there is because they got little hairs on them. Well, you know, when we... Pepperoni. You like cream cheese? Yeah, they have these tiny, tiny little hairs that make them sticky. And this one, I was hoping I could get this one to open up a little bit more. It's so pretty in the morning. I should mention that you should pick your blossoms in the morning when they're open. But it's very pretty when I look out there in the morning and they're all wide open. And
so now that you've picked that blossom, does that mean that that will not produce fruit on the plant?
Correct. As I've mentioned before, we have both male and female on the same plant. So I picked all males. So, correct. It will not, the males don't produce. The males are just there to fertilize. I picked all males. We have plenty on our plants. Like, every plant has probably 5 or more. So it was not, I'm not taking away from the abundance of what we're going to be able to grow. It's just, yeah.
Well, we have plenty.
We definitely have plenty right now.
Plenty. But we're learning to do something different with it so that we can actually, what did we learn the other day? Freeze them for later instead of, I mean, we don't mind sharing with our neighbors, but look at this is just a fraction.
Yeah, the fridge is full.
Out of our garden, along with our cherry tomatoes, which we're so happy about.
Yeah, this is what we did with some of them. We just froze them. And I can go through that at another time. But we definitely, I did, this is 2 zucchini and this is 2 yellow squashes. And then we used our food processor or our food sealer and just sealed them. So now we're ready to go into our batter and get battered up and ready to go. So, oh, you know what? I need some tongs. Well, no.
Get dirty.
That's what's gonna happen. Okay, so again, I'm just gently laying these in here to coat. I'm not dropping them in. I want them to have enough, but not too much. I guess I should have used another pan. Now that these guys are dry. These are some really large blossoms, I gotta tell you. When I was watching the videos, I'm like, why are my blossoms so big? But I'll take it. It should also be noted that these are multiple different types of blossoms. So we have zucchini, we have pattypans, we have crooked yellowneck squash. That didn't get very battered. I might have to do that one again. So I'm just laying these guys in here. And while we're doing this, we're gonna wait for our oil to come up to temperature, which is supposed to be 350 degrees. I don't have an oil thermometer, so I'm just going to use my regular water thermometer. Ooh. Boy, when you said get dirty, you weren't kidding.
It's not always a clean process.
I'm messy. Okay. This is really thick batter, but I like it. Let's do, oh, I'm gonna pull that off because it's clearly not gonna make it through. I wish I could have marked which blossoms were from which fruit so I would know, like,
From a flavor profile.
not just that, because they said for the most part, like they said you can even use like pumpkin blossoms, like it just doesn't matter what squash it is. But just also from like how sturdy they are. Because my yellow squash blossoms were definitely larger. Okay, let's get this pot moving. I'm gonna put the lid on just so it comes up a little bit faster. And I'll bring y'all back when we're ready to drop them in. Well, it's time. Our oil is up to 350. And I'm going to take our first blossom and I'm just gonna lay it in. I'll do 2 at a time. I might be able to do 3, but I don't want to.
I think you could do 3.
Yeah, I don't want to take that temp down too much. Here we go. 3. These don't take long. We're just looking for a nice golden color. And I don't have a ton of oil in here either. Oh, by the way, this is just vegetable oil. No special oil needed.
I see you've got your wrap already.
Yep, a little bit of paper towel underneath. Oh, that sounds so good. It's splatching a little bit.
I'm standing way over here. There's a lot of popping going on.
There is some popping going on. They probably could have been drier. I picked them this morning, like I said, and I wanted to make sure they were nice and clean and then dry. But I did keep them in the refrigerator to kind of keep them supple and moist, so I didn't want them to really dry out. So that's probably a little bit of what this is popping. I think this one is probably done. See, we're not looking for like a brown color on them. We're just looking for them to have a little bit of golden on them, but not dark. Oh, we have a gusher. Nice and crispy. Okay, I'm just going to give it a second for that. Make sure that oil comes back up to temp. And we'll go in with the last 3. I can't wait to taste these. They look fun.
I'm just wondering what the flour is actually going to taste like.
I know, right? All right. Last 3. These might take just a little bit longer just because. 2. Ooh. Snap, crackle, and pop.
Get back.
We're going to keep them separated so they don't stick to each other. Yeah, they probably could have been a little drier so they didn't pop so much. That is why I wear an apron. That, and I'm a particularly messy cook.
I can attest to that.
I was about to say, nothing from the peanut gallery? What?
No. I've become accustomed to it. Most of the time she cooks and I clean, but sometimes I think she uses every utensil, every pot and pan.
Sometimes it's necessary.
We'll go with necessary.
I think the one that exploded was the one that I had broken when I was trying to clean it this morning. Oh. Why you guys gotta all hang out on the same side? This is it, the taste test. I'm nervous. So this is typically served as an appetizer. And they serve it with a marinara sauce or your favorite red sauce. I haven't made any yet this year. We don't have enough tomatoes yet. But this is a good one. This is Newman's own. So I'm going in. Goat cheese. You don't even taste the flour.
Really?
Really?
So it's just a vessel.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess it's presentation. It's a delicate vessel.
Yeah. Oh, I'm double.
Well, what else would you have put it in?
Well, I guess there's a lot of different things we could do it with, but I mean, that was a big bite. But it's cute because the little stem is the handle at the bottom.
It's all edible or not?
I said don't eat the very bottom stem. Remember where I pulled those little spiky leaves off? So it's more for just a little handle.
Okay.
But all in all, I'd like a little more salt. That was a very mixed review, by the way, of folks that added salt at the end after they're done frying, which I would typically do for something like an onion ring or a french fry. But some of them said it tended to make them overly salty because of the filling. So I chose not to. I would probably add a little bit of salt, sprinkled salt, maybe Himalayan. All in all, though, I'd say it's a hit. See you next time.